Hello everybody and welcome back to the Doom Eternal Analysis. This is part 3. So in this one we'll be looking at the new weapons, or the updated weapons. It seems to me that they really wanted to go for that classic style, and oh boy they have. With these weapons you can definitely tell that nearly every single one, or every one that we've seen so far, has had an update. Kind of weird that we haven't really seen much of the pistol yet. We've kind of jumped straight ahead into the more heavy weapons. I don't know if they've really showed everything off. I've mainly just looked at the art that they've shown us, or just the design. You get to have a better look in the gameplay, but for now let's just have a look at pretty much the overall design of them. Most of the weapons still attack the same, but of course it wouldn't be the same if they went a bit more hardcore. This time many weapons have had more modifications to make them even more gory and epic to use in combat. So yeah, without further ado, let's start off with the first one they've shown us, which was a brand new weapon. First time I saw this, I wasn't too sure about it, but seeing it in gameplay, this is definitely going to be a weapon that's going to fit into the Doom universe pretty nicely. Anyway, so this weapon is actually a crossbow-like weapon, and it's called the Ballista. Okay, here it is. So yeah, this is the Ballista. It kind of, when I was explaining it, it kind of reminded me of the weapon from Gears of War, which is very similar, a crossbow that explodes. I was kind of getting worried that they're going to start copying other games, but it seems it's going to work pretty well in gameplay as well, because when we actually saw it, it seemed pretty strong. This is the sort of weapon that I reckon is going to absolutely destroy small enemies, and we even got to see this weapon used against the Arachnotron, and it seemed to do quite a lot of damage quite quickly. So this weapon looks like it's going to be one that you can use around all the time. I'm guessing it's going to be a weapon you're going to find maybe not later in the campaign, but it's going to be used more as like a stronger weapon. So you know you're going to have select amount of shots. It's not going to be one you can just use all the time. But then again, they did say they want Doomguy to feel more powerful, so maybe they're going to make us use weapons like this all the time. Anyway, it's got a really nice look to it as well. It kind of has a little bit of a demonic look to it, but mostly you can tell this is like a UAC based weapon with this kind of, just the way it's been made. It just looks really good, I have to admit. I'm so glad when we saw that gameplay that it wasn't going to be like a hold to charge and then shoot it and then it explodes kind of thing. It works quite well. Next weapon, fan favourite, especially my favourite, the SSG. Looks very similar. They said this is Doomguy's personal one, so this might be actually his original one he had or something like that, instead of one he just found on the Mars base. And I'm guessing that's true, because as you can see there with this new, actually one of the best things we've seen in the trailer, this weapon attachment called the meat hook. This thing does everything. Kills enemies, grabs onto objects, glory kills enemies. Pretty much that's the main three things you need in Doom. Not just killing enemies, but glory killing them, ripping to them to shreds, and of course helping you in the actual gameplay arena areas. It looks like it's going to come in handy quite a lot. So you can even like swing from some enemies, which I thought was really cool. So there's like a caca demon halfway through it, or maybe even a paymental. You just grab them and you can swing along, so you can get to higher platforms. Really neat idea, and I'm really glad that they decided to add this to the SSG, because now this has kind of got its own personal modification if they don't decide to bring them back, because they haven't mentioned nothing like that just yet. This weapon is kind of cool. It's like the shotgun, but it also seems to have like a much more explosive rounds to it as well. Really cool. As you can see from the side, it definitely resembles like a nice classic shotgun. So I've really loved the new design. I don't know if this is actually going to be like a proper shotgun, if it's going to replace that or not, because like I said, it has like a more of a grenade launcher kind of feel to it as well. And halfway through we actually got to saw this thing kind of open up, and it was like an automatic shotgun. It looked so good. It literally just ripped to shreds the Mancubus. Really epic design, actually. Really epic gameplay. I mean, loved it. And here's the gun that nearly everyone's talking about, the classic plasma gun. Not many people actually like the plasma gun in Doom 2016. I personally like the design, and over time I grew to like the gun itself. I can understand why people didn't like it, because it went from being one of the strongest weapons in the classic Dooms to actually one of the weaker weapons. just a slightly stronger version of the assault rifle actually. Now this has gone back to its roots, not only in its design, as you can see, it has that classic look to it, just like the original ones do, especially the front half, epic. It also looks like it's going to be much more powerful as well. And this seems to be the weapon of choice that the Marines use, or the security use on, actually in Phobos base as well, because this is what Doomguy nicks one of the weapons there. So the plasma gun, really cool, love the design of it. Hopefully it's going to play just as good, and I want it to be even more powerful than it was in the classic games. Now, the rocket launcher. Well, I believe this is the new rocket launcher. As I mentioned in a previous video, the rocket launcher is kind of like a hybrid here. I mean, only in looks. It looks like the rocket launcher and the static rifle have been merged into one. Because when you look at it from this angle, you can sort of see the energy beam thing that was in actually the static rifle, but it has the outer look of the rocket launcher. Really good as well. It doesn't have as much of a classic feel to it as well, because this one actually seems different. It reminds me a lot more of a Doom 2016 than it does of the others. It also has like a weird skull thing on it as well, which I'm not really sure about if this is going to be like a more of a hellish weapon or not. It still worked pretty much the same in the campaign, so it looks like it's going to be a similar weapon. It's just had like a nice new makeover. And personally, I think it looks really good as well. Now there's just one other weapon I think we should mention. I can't leave this one out. Oh boy, the Hell Crucible, or the Hell Sword, everyone you want to say. We got to see two epic things right at the end here. The Arch Vial and the Hell Crucible. We didn't get to see them together, unfortunately. We didn't actually get to see them fight. But finally, we can see the Arch Vial, and finally we get to see the Hell Crucible a little bit more about it in action. Once again, I'm not sure how Doomguy has actually got this back, so I don't know if Samuel Hayden's actually going to play that much of a part in Doom Eternal. But it's good to see this being a new weapon. I'm pretty sure this is going to act something like the chainsaw, so you can only do a certain amount of kills at a time. If not, I've got a feeling this thing is going to be seriously powerful. So personally, I think it's going to work like the chainsaw does. Small enemies, it'll waste a little bit of energy, but as the enemies get bigger, then obviously it's going to run out a lot quicker. So I reckon the Arch Vial is going to pretty much use the whole thing up at once, because it's going to be one of the tougher enemies in the game. But still, really cool to see this weapon. So that's basically it. These are the weapons that I thought I'd mention anyway. These are the pretty much, I didn't go into, like I said, the gameplay details on the screen, because we actually got to see these a bit more in gameplay. I thought I'd just show off what these guns look like. This is what they showed us at the start of the actual event, these guns. And of course the Hell Crucible, I couldn't leave that one out. So I had to show that. That's what I showed at the very end of the night. So yeah, weapons look really good. We didn't get to see too much, but we got to sort of pretty much, for a first look, it was actually really good. I'm not going to lie, this is a lot more to what I thought we'd see. I'm pretty sure we got to see solid gameplay from all parts of the campaign actually. When we saw the level with all the Mancubi and the Arachnotrons, I feel like that was quite a way into the campaign, but when we was on Phobos, when all the weaker enemies at the start, I feel like that might be a bit closer to the start. But then again, we did see an Arch Vial and that super strong Baron, and I can't wait to see how these weapons are going to play it. I mean, we've still got yet to see quite a few of the weapons, plus other ones that we don't know about yet. We didn't not see any hellish weapons yet, which I'm still kind of hoping for. I'd love to see a hellish weapon, but for what we did see, it was really good, and I cannot wait to see more in the future. But for now, that's it for the weapons, and I guess there's still quite a lot more to talk about. But until then, this has been Rockhard Gamer 45, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.